Hey folks, welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight on the bar, we've got the rice whiskey from Last Straw Distillery. Stay tuned. Well, hey folks, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and we've got ourselves an alternative grain whiskey on the bar tonight with the rice whiskey from Last Straw Distillery out in Vaughan, Ontario, Canada. But before I get into the specs and overview and get into the review of this whiskey from Last Straw, if you have yourself anything from Last Straw, maybe you get yourself some of their rye, their single malt, maybe you got the rice whiskey on hand, maybe you got the Scorn on hand, or one of the newer releases and you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a heck of a lot better for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me, especially when it's whiskey from Last Straw. So what can I tell you guys about this particular release of rice whiskey here from Last Straw Distillery? It's their rice whiskey from their Domaine, the Red Tail series, and it comes in with an ABV stamp of 45% ABV, non-chill filtered, no color added, just the way we like it, or the way that Last Straw explains it. Made in small batches using only the finest ingredients, pure and unadulterated. I like the sounds of that, guys. And this release here uses 100% Argentinian long grain brown rice that has been aged for 5 years and 5 months in a recharred American oak X wine barrel that has been aged in their facility there. So it's using an alternative grain in their long grain Argentinian brown rice, and they age it for 5 years and 5 months in an X American wine cask. Let's get into the presentation of this. Last Straw's kind of got this classic or standardized Last Straw look that I like. The bottle's just big enough, it's just bulbous enough. It's great for storing on the shelf there, and they put all tons of information on here. And again, I tip my hat to Don and the team over there at Last Straw for treating the whiskey drinker with so much respect. They give you all the maturation process. This was a collaboration with K2 Milling and Domaine to Red Tail. 100% Argentinian long grain brown rice, aged for 5 years, 5 months in the cask there for the recharred American X oak cask. Gives you a little bit of tasting notes on it there. Non-chill filtered and some sediment will appear. They give you all of it right there on the packaging, and I love it. And I wish more places would do that. With that, we're gonna get into the pour, and I love these bottles because they always give a great cork pop like that right there, guys. So we'll get in there, give ourselves a pour of the rice whiskey from Last Straw. Just give it a little minute to sit there and acclimate before we go in and take a look at the liquid in there. Beautiful liquid. We'll go in close. We'll swirl in the glass there. And I was picking up when I was looking at this in the light. It was a very nice dark gold with orange tones. The orange tones I find are around the edges there, but it's got a bit of cloudiness to it right off the bat. Be it that it's obviously non-chill filtered, no color added piece, but also maybe because of the 100% rice whiskey. I'm not too sure, but there is a bit of cloudiness in there, and I like it. All right. We take a look at the color. Let's get in the nose and see what we can get out of the rice whiskey from Last Straw Distillery, Domaine to Red Tail series. On the nose. It's definitely got an interesting nose. Different character than what you would normally find. It's not like a rye, not like a bourbon. It's kind of somewhere in the middle there. It's kind of in the middle of rye and bourbon, I would say. But the flavor profile is very interesting. I'm getting burnt caramel notes right out the nose, and then I get some like maple sugar, like sugar that's been infused with maple syrup. Some bitter chocolates in there. Some coffee maybe. And then on the end, it kind of pushes into this kind of fruit piece where I've got a little bit of green apple, a little bit of red apple mix, and some oranges. And then a little blast of cinnamon, just like the cinnamon spice at the back end of the nose there. Yeah, interesting nose for sure. All right. Well, with that, hopefully you got something good in your glass. Let's get into the taste here on the rice whiskey from Last Straw Distillery and see what we can pull out of this one. So cheers to your health. Let's get into it. First of all, mouthfeel wise, it's not too thin, not too thick. It's kind of interesting. Hangs on the sides there, but then it kind of goes a little bit quicker than the regular kind of non-chill filtered whiskey. It's not oily by any means, but it has got this neat mouthfeel to it. Just I would say it's not quite a chewy texture, but it's kind of on the cusp of being chewy. What am I getting on the palate right at the get-go? It matches the nose to a degree. I'm getting some creme brulee, which is kind of those burnt sugar notes at the start there, this heavy vanilla kind of flavoring. I get some maple candy in there. I get some dark chocolate. I get some candied cherries, like maraschino cherries in there too. I'm going for one more sip. I always mention too, and I apologize, nothing on the nose that's offensive. Nothing on the palate that's offensive as far as an alcohol burn or anything like that. Past that, those candied cherries, dark chocolate notes, orange zests, orange peels, candied orange peels, some apple in there. It's more green apple this time. And then I get this kind of blast at the end of red cinnamon hearts that we had when we were kids, and then a little bit of an oak hug in there. It's just a little bit of bitterness in there, probably off those casks that they were using. But it gives you this nice warming oak hug and this little tiny bit of drifting bitterness at the end. Definitely got an interesting profile for sure, being that it is a rice whiskey at 100% rice used in the distillate there. Yeah. With that, let's transition into the finish. I'm gonna go for one more sip, then I'll give you guys my final thoughts on the rice whiskey from last round. So going for one more sip. Very good. Finish wise, solid medium finish on this one. It's got a pretty good profile, fairly complex, very smooth. The finish is a little bit more spicy, a little more heavy. Again, you get that bit of oak bitterness, you get that cinnamon blast, but the front end is very, very soft, very, very gentle, and has a lot going on for it there. Some bitter notes of the chocolate in there, mixed with those cherries, mixed with that sweet creme brulee note, mixed in with that kind of maple French toast kind of aspect, I would say, that there's there to it. It's got a lot going on for it, and it's very, very tasty and very interesting, and a great example of a alternative grain whiskey. This actually was one of the ones I picked out on my list of 5 Canadian whiskeys that you should check out as the best alternative grain, or the alternative grain that you should be checking out from them. With that, let's transition into the value proposition, because this is where I think it could make or break this particular whiskey. This is available at Last Straw. I believe it's still available in the store and online. I'll put their information down. You can go check out their website. Available for $120 in Canada. And I think that is a good deal. And I'll tell you why. You're getting a alternative grain, something different, something not many people are doing, in a presentation, naturally presented, unadulterated, not chill filtered, no just the way we like it. And it's a great example of that, the way they're doing whiskeys here, and just the innovation that's coming out of Last Straw Distillery in Vaughan. And I think it's definitely worth a try. Even at that $120 range there, you know, there's some part of the process that's a little bit tougher to make. It yields a little less, I believe, and it just makes a completely different experience for you. So if you're a seasoned whiskey enthusiast and you want to try something interesting, I think this is one that you would really like. If you're a novice whiskey enthusiast there, and you're looking to try something, you know, Canadian that's a little bit different from your everyday rye or your everyday corn whiskey, I think this is one that's interesting to try out. The 120 price point may seem a bit steep, but I'll tell you guys, it's well worth the adventure, in my opinion, to go check this one out from Last Straw Distillery in Vaughan, Ontario. And with that wraps up my review of the rice whiskey from Last Straw Distillery. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you guys like what we're doing here at seawaywhiskywire, you guys know the drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at seawaywhiskywire for more content. And if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video, watching me check out this this latest release from Last Straw Distillery, this alternative grain whiskey, one that I really, really enjoy and hope you will too. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Love making these videos, coming home after a long day's work, pouring myself a nice dram, and getting into it. And you know, they were nice to send this over to the channel for review, and it's coming on time, but I gotta get joining Mr. John on his live stream. They're featuring another Last Straw release. This is the latest one. This is their stout whiskey, and I'm gonna pour myself a dram of this right after I wrap this up and get on that live stream. So all you guys, John, this will be posted on Saturday, so it'll already be over, but I'll see you soon. Everybody else, take care. Go check out Last Straw. I'll put their stuff down there in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you around. Bye for now, guys.